All right, so here we've got Frank, and we know that Frank worked 1.25 hours yesterday, and he earned $17.50. And we see that today Frank worked 5.5 hours and earned $77. So we want to know, how much money does Frank make per hour? So here they're not asking us explicitly for the rate of change, but if we see this, like how much is something taking per hour, kind of like a unit rate, that usually means we're looking for our rate of change or slope. So we're going to go back to what we know about rate of change, which is that rate of change is the change in y divided by the change in x. Well, we weren't given a nice little table here, but we can certainly create one, right? So our hours, time is almost always your x variable. So our hours is going to be x. And then y is going to be the amount of money that he's earned. So let's put that in. So we know that 1.25 is our x value when the y value is $17.50. And then we know that 5.5 is our x value when we have $77. So now we have that table, and we can go ahead and look for our change in y divided by our change in x. All right, so we're going to have to go from $17.50 to $77. That's obviously increasing, so we're going to have a positive number. And so what is that increasing by? Well, a little, to find what it's increasing by, just come down here and do a little bit of subtraction. Right? So we're going to have 0 here. We're going to need to do some borrowing here. And then we're going to have to borrow another over here. We got 16 minus 7 is 9. 6 minus 1 is 5. So the difference there to go from $17.50 to $77 is going to be positive $59.50. Now we've got to go and check out our change in the x values. So we got to see, so to go from 125 to 5.5, that's definitely increasing. And then what is it increasing by? Well, to go from 125 to 525 would be $4. And then we've got another, 4. And we've got another 0.25. So it's going to be going up by 4.25. But let's just verify that real quick. 5.50 minus 1.25. Yep. So it's going to be going up by 4.25. So now we have what we need to know, and we've just got to put it into our fraction. So remember, our change in y value was $59.50. And then our change in x values was 4.25. And so now that's great. It doesn't quite answer the question. We want to know, how much does he make per hour? So we need to reduce this fraction. So we'll have 59.5 divided by 4.25. So I went ahead and kind of worked out the division down here. Remember, you have to, because we're dividing decimals, you want to look at your divisor, and because it's 0.25, you've got to move that decimal over 2 places. And then likewise, you have to do that in the dividend. So anyway, when we end up dividing all that out, we end up with $14. So that means his hourly rate is $14 per hour.